All right, the first thing to mounting this Laveo toilet into our enclosure is to install the bracket mounting kit. It's an optional kit. I think it was on the order of $45 or so. And for that, you get a few little metal brackets and some templates and some very good instructions. So this bracket was mounted on the bottom of the toilet via this template. This bracket here comes on the toilet, and then these two brackets go on the floor. And like I say, very good instructions and templates make it almost idiot-proof, you know. It allows you to quick release this toilet via a couple of these wing nuts here, and take the toilet out to get under it, to clean it and service it, install the battery in and out of the unit, etc. So it's good to have this kit. So I thought before I start drilling holes, I better check how this Laveo toilet will be located via this template. This locates the brackets, which when that clips to it, what's that going to do? So I did some measuring and I figured out this is about where it's going to be. I ended up with a huge gap back there, 3 inches, and an overhang here in the front of 2 inches from the flat area. So that's not good. So what I am doing in my particular application is I folded the template back 1.25 inches, which should effectively shift everything back towards that wall 1.25 inches, which should help with this overhang. So every circumstance and installation is different, just something to be aware of. All right, so I got the template installed in here and taped down. And just to be sure, I laid the brackets on here and made sure the holes all lined up. They pretty much did. I shifted them a little bit. And I'll drill out these holes, and then I'm going to glue them down and screw them down to the shower pan. So I got the brackets installed. That's what they look like. They're siliconed and screwed to the shower pan floor. I adjusted the template to locate them back towards that wall an additional 1.25 inches, and now I'm going to test fit the toilet and see if that fixed my overhang problem in the front here. So the Laveo toilet is mounted now on its optional brackets, and shifting it back worked. It's about 3/4 inch overhang. It was 2 inches, and that space behind the toilet's reduced accordingly. The camera door still easily clears. The brackets seem to be holding this toilet very securely. So the last thing for me to do is test fit the blue cover, make sure that still slips over. So there's the cover installed. It actually slipped over quite easily. There's plenty of clearance back here to allow me to put this on and remove it. So that pretty much completes the installation of the Laveo toilet on the optional brackets into our enclosure. And with that, that pretty much completes this whole lavatory project. And nobody could be happier about that than my wife. So now that the Laveo toilet is installed, the next part of this video will be the actual drain plumbing and also the venting system for the plumbing. First step that a person should take is to lay out your system, identify all your parts. Bought just the parts I needed this time. I'm working a little smarter. And also there are some specialty parts that you may need. Like for instance, I had to buy this tee online and have it shipped to me. You're not going to find this at Home Depot, okay? So identify those parts, get them ordered so it doesn't hold up your project. Okay, here we are in the van. I'm getting ready to drill the hole down through the floor, and I'm doing it old school with a hole saw. I can't get my fancy hydraulic punch under there. Just can't get that tool under there. There's no room. So I got to do it this way. And here's my T, and it is hooking up to what's called a hippo valve, this thing right here. And that is hooked directly to the drain. Here, I'll show you one. This is going to be the one I use on my sink. But this end here hooks right to the drain on my shower pan. And the way these work is they work pretty much like a P-trap. That's their job. But there's a little rubber flap in there. And water can flow down this way and open that flap up. It's pinched shut on the end and allow the water to go. But as soon as the water stops flowing, that flap shuts down and doesn't allow gas from your holding tank and your plumbing system to come back up through into your living area, right? These are great. They're called HEPO. There's the name of the company. HEPO sanitary waste valve. Standard 1.5 inches. I think they come in 1.25 inches too. So this is a slip joint, standard sink or shower slip joint, 1.5 inches. And I'll trim this back, and it's going to fit into that HEPO valve. And this end here is what's going down through the hole. And this part here is the vent port, and that is going up to my pre-installed vent port on the roof and vent out all the nasty fumes, hopefully. And this side is a 3/4 inch hose barb that is going to go to my sink on the passenger side. And I have a whale gulper pump, a marine pump, that's going to pump the liquid from my sink into this port and then down the drain. So I'm going to get the camera set up, and we're going to drill out this hole. We're going to go for it. Okay, there's my hole. I sanded it all down, got the edges smooth. I'm going to have to touch it up with paint and run some sealant in here. But this piece is going to fit in here thusly. Drops right down in there, and you can see how it's going to hook up. Next, what I need to do is actually glue this thing into the hole here. And I'm using Simplified 221. I'm going to go under the van to do it. So that drops in there like that. Then that slip fitting will slide into the HEPO valve and make the connection. Check your level. Make sure that this thing's going to drain properly, and go for it. Okay, so here's that cross glued into place with Simplified 221. That's a permanent installation. That thing is part of the van now. It's never coming out of there. I'm going to let that dry, and then I can work on this tomorrow. I've got to hook up this vent. Here's the slip joint and the HEPO valve right there, which acts like your P-trap to stop odors. These are just hand tight. It screws together just like under your sink, you know, your P-trap fittings. So that's that. And so next I'll go under the van and show where this thing pokes through and give you an idea of how it's going to hook up to the holding tank. All right, I'm going to slide under the van here and show you what I got going on under here. To get you oriented, this is the driver's side front, and here is the holding tank sitting on a couple of boxes, positioning it approximately where it's going to actually be. It's very close, actually. So here's the back of the holding tank, and you can see I don't have a very big area to work with here. It's pretty tight. There is the cross poking down through the floor with that angled barb, hose barb. Here's the inflow to the holding tank. So there'll be a hose that'll come here and loop around and go to here. And this lower barb, of course, is the discharge, and it will be going to an 1.5 inch dump valve right here. And that will be attached on a bracket to the pinch seam. And you can see the relationship, how that's going to flow. So that's under here, and I got to get the upstairs done before I can get under here and work. All right, I'm back in the van, and I'm getting ready to do the vent plumbing up to this port up here. So this thing's going to bend down and kind of hug the wall here, so I thought I better get the back part of my closet done. Because once that pipe's coming down through here, it's going to kind of limit my access back here. So that's making these little cross braces now for my back wall of my closet. And I'm using one of these Kreg pocket hole jigs. I picked this up for this project. So if you're going to be doing your own cabinetry in your van, you probably might want to think about picking one of these up. Pretty simple device to use. You just stick your wood in here. You can have it horizontal or vertical like I've got it. And you line your jig up with your, it's self-aligning actually. Depending on the width of the wood, there's 1 of 3 holes you drill through. So I'm gonna be here on the end to drill out the pocket. And the special bit comes with it, with the kit. So that's it, you're done. You got a perfect pocket, as you'll see. Okay, and then that's gonna go in. A little wood glue here on both ends. And then I can put this thing in. Go in lickety split. That's about as good as I'm gonna get it right there, but that's good enough. So now I've got this back of my closet installed. Got the cross braces on here, and I've even added the supports. I've got 3 of them, one there, and one up here. These little plastic holders for like a panduit, and that's what's gonna secure my pipe to this ladder assembly. And I'm putting in the bottom angled section and the top angled section of my vent pipe. And now all I got to do is get this straight piece that connects them. And I have to put a gentle, slight bend in it, about 13 degrees or so in the middle. I have to bend it. And so I'm going to show you how I do that next. And these sequencing issues when you're building, you're going to run into this where you realize or you don't realize that you should have done this before you did that, because it can cause other problems for you down the road. So in the process of bending this PVC drain pipe, you know, if you can't find a fitting that'll work, an angled fitting, these are like 22.5, that's a 45. I need like a 12, 13 degree, and I don't even think they make anything like that. So what I've done in the past is I will take a standard heat gun and heat the area that I want to bend, and then eventually it'll start sagging down of its own weight. I don't force this because you'll get a real bad kink, but if you just let it drop naturally, you'll get a little divot, but it doesn't really affect the performance of this. So anyway, I have measured this and figured out it's about 12.5, 13 degrees of bend, which is just where I want it to be. So I'm going to go fit it, and if it looks good, I'm going to go ahead and glue it into place. Well, I got the vent system in finally. It just it turned into a little bigger project because I had to deal with the back of the closet here. I forgot about that. I was going to use it for support. That's where these are attached. These little clip things that hold a pan to it and secure the vent pipe to this back wall. It isn't not going anywhere. Here's the elbows and little sections of Schedule 40, my witness mark, so I could get everything lined up once I fitted it. Here's that bend that I made with the heat gun. You can see it's got a little dimple there, and where I got a little too close with the heat gun, it made a little singe mark, but that's not going to hurt anything. And then the lower part where it ties into the actual drain system. So this is going to vet out all the nasty odors. That's its job. And it's going up through the roof into that siphon 360. So anyway, that's this video. Next one, I will be installing the S&B Filters Company 22-gallon holding tank. I think it's absolutely the best one on the market from what I've seen. They're relatively new into this segment of Sprinter holding tanks. So here's the S&B Filter Company, their 22-gallon holding tank for the Sprinter 144 and 170 wheelbase. And I will be building this out, outfitting it with the fittings and the sensors and all that, and installing it. And you will see why I think it's the best option on the market. There is absolutely no drilling. So as always, thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.